In this part, we're gonna make the terrain for our diorama. For the base of the diorama, I'm going to use a polyester piece that I had available and save it for an occasion like this. The first thing to pre-compose our scene is avoid parallel lines. So we turn our tank a few degrees to create a vanishing point which can be more aesthetic. So next, make the sketch with a marker to design the composition of the diorama. To avoid a totally flat diorama, I'm going to make some cuts and break up the monotony, creating interest in our scene by giving volume, both adding or removing it, so we play with the composition of the diorama. Once we have the base ready, we're going to cover it with art drying clay, which once extended, I'm going to stick it to the base with glue. This is something super interesting that I discovered was the track marks on the ground. So I decided to try this using the tank's own tracks before I painted them. And I have a lot of fun with this. I also had a wheel of the correct scale and decided to make wheel marks as if a motorcycle or wheeled vehicles will have passed by this road. I liked the result of the pine bark in my previous project and I decided to use it again, but this time as rocks. So I added those before putting more clay on it. Once the clay of the base is dry, I began to add some beach sand all over the ground, trying not to cover the wheel tracks, slowly adding and preparing a firm and solid layer in all the ground of our diorama. So we wait this to dry and I painted it with a base layer of dark brown with very thin paint, applying as many layers so not to spoil the details, and begin to experiment with different shades of brown, especially on the part of the road. I tried to keep these tones without a lot of contrast or difference between them, so they are in the same tune. And I decided to paint the rock with a greenish gray, green gray, Vallejo's green gray, and continue giving small highlights with lighter browns. But I decided to try the pigments on the base since they give a very natural look. Several shades of Vallejo pigments randomly all over the ground, and it had really had an almost natural appearance, so I keep adding small details because the idea is this to be an autumn diorama. So I gathered all the materials I had accumulated to make the bases, and I decided to use them, but unlike with my other miniatures, more gaming miniatures, I will try to use them in much smaller quantities, like adding a little bit here, a little bit there, and trying to make the mix more natural. This is a pursuit of realism, or kind of. Also, I went out for small sticks, leaves, and small rocks to add more naturalness to the diorama. To make the trees, I discovered that the part of the roots has a natural appearance and it looks like trees. So since I had several plants that are already dry, poor plants, I decided to clean all the soil well and let these roots dry so that later I could compose something like a tree, but with the appearance of an autumn tree, like without leaves. So I tried the different roots to see which one fits the composition. And for this, I had to cut some pieces from the upper part of the plant that, once inverted, it will represent the trunk of the tree. I also used some wood small pieces that I like it a lot because they had a natural curves and they would work perfectly as roots of our tree. So I proceeded to glue them and add more sand and earth to cover the joints and seem like they come out from the earth itself, like the roots. Once our tree is composed, it's time to put the foliage on it. And I'm going to use some small natural leaves. I think I found them in spring years ago. Okay, it's time to glue leaf by leaf all over the tree, all the branches. And they have a very natural appearance. And if one day I pass by that tree again, I will take photos of the tree and I will see if we can make a video because they work perfectly. So you can put one in your garden. Okay, it still remains to add some leaves to the ground to represent the autumn. And I will fix this with Anno sand fixture and others with PVA glue. And for the final step, paint the base of the diorama. Black paint and finish my first diorama. Okay, there's a lot of things to improve, but yet I think it's okay for a first try. Okay, so the diorama is already finished. I had a lot of fun making it, I learned a lot, and also I failed a lot. I had a lot of things to improve, like the size of the diorama. It should be small. I think it should be smaller, so the tank is the main thing on the scene, and I should put more leaves all around the ground and also in the tree. And the finishing of the volumes, it should be cleaner. For the next one, I maybe use some wood to achieve a more clean finishing, more professional. But I'm very happy with this approach. I had a lot of fun. I hope this to push you to make your own dioramas. If you like it, please subscribe, like it, and share it with your friends. It helps a lot. So thank you very much and see you next time. Bye.